Welcome to the You Know My Voice podcast, the podcast that talks to the biggest voices in electronic music. And today's guest is a multi-platinum Grammy-nominated icon from South London, a singer, songwriter, artist who works with the likes of A.M.E, Craig David, Duke Dumont, and a list that goes far beyond, including an incredible girl band called Flow. In the studio with me today, I have the artist formerly known as A.M.E, Kabba. Welcome to the sofa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in.
I am so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And I feel like we haven't seen each other in years either.
Yeah, it's been far too long.
Far too long. It's lovely to see your face. Thank you for being in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, your CV speaks volumes.
Thank you.
Girl, you're just a very powerful part of the electronic music scene. I know as Kabba is a different world, which we are going to get onto.
Yeah.
But as A.M.E, you've done things and made the hits.
Yeah. I've tried my best or whatever.
You've tried your best. I think you've done all of that. But before we get on to that, because obviously we've got things to talk about, we must talk a bit about baby Kabba.
Yes.
Two South London girls on a sofa.
Yes, let's do it. Let's get selfie.
Let's get selfie.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did you get into this crazy world of ours?
Oh, goodness. So I moved from Sierra Leone to England when I was 8. And my dad was in a band with his brothers. So I come from quite a musical family and his dad was a musician and, you know, it goes on and on. And so when I moved to London, I'd already discovered certain like Western music, but I moved to London and I discovered this whole new world. It was Janet Jackson. It was everything from Janet Jackson, Brandy, Whitney, the greats, to Westlife, Blue, Atomic Kitten. It was like
the greats.
The greats also, mind you. Yeah. The greats also.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is my absolute calling. This is like an innate thing. I can't not be a musician of some sort.
Yeah. So were you singing from young?
I was singing from quite young. Not well. Not well.
I think, in our young heads, we feel like we're slaying, and then you'll hear it like recorded back and it'll be like, okay,
oh, that was scary.
But she was a trier.
Yeah, exactly. God loves a trier. So it was a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And then, I remember being in primary school writing songs on the playground. You know, I, at that point was in a girl band. It was the first and only time, Girls Plus.
Oh, Girls Plus.
It's so crazy that I even remember it because I also remember the song that we made.
Oh, I love it. What was it called?
Independent Girls.
Come on. Love it.
Please.
Fully inspired by Destiny's Child at this point.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. The influence was very much there.
Yeah.
It was like a like for like. But I realised at that point girl band was not for me and that I wanted to go solo.
Okay, what was that? Was it like fighting for the lead? Was it the harmonies were not coming through?
It was the lead for me.
Yeah.
It was the lead for me because I had to sing the lead.
Yes.
I had to sing the lead. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And there was like another lead singer in the group and I was like, nah. Is it?
Is it? It doesn't work. And leads will know this. Actually, it's quite interesting. Just to interject, on the last series we had Natalie Maddox, House Gospel Choir. Absolutely love her. And she was like, singing solo was not for me. I need to be with people. She was like, I found it boring. But then lead singers as solo artists, you just know, you're just like, I'm going to need you to step aside.
Yeah, I need to be front and centre. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like, I'm not happy doing up BVs in the back. Like, I need to be right here. So, writing songs then. And then when I got into secondary school, I got into school choir, met an amazing musical director who was also the head of choir at the time, Andy Gilbert.
Nice.
And he would put on like school talent shows. And so we did this school talent show. I sing my little song with my head down like this. And he basically would invite like music industry, like proper music industry folk to these like secondary school talent shows. Wow. It was crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so sick because again, I grew up in the hood, honey. So it's like, we don't get many of those kind of opportunities. But it was so cool. These are like bona fide A&Rs and managers and, you know, label execs. And so, he invited a bunch of managers down. I sing my little song, feel like I completely tanked it.
Really?
And then, I was like, I did not eat any part of this. This is going to be a mess.
Oh.
And then I get the phone call back and they're like, I want to work with you. And that's how I got my first manager, Wayne Russell.
Oh, amazing. Oh, Wayne. Love Wayne.
Yes. So that's how I met Wayne, was literally in secondary school with my head down like this. The thickest fringe that you've ever seen on a human being, just across my forehead.
Oh my gosh. I love that. But then, do you know what? That's really interesting as well, because as you, and your self-critique as also developing artist and singer, he obviously saw this light coming from you and this artistic presence and the vocals and something like that he could see through all of that. So
100%.
Sometimes we're so self-depreciating, think it could have been better, but actually just being maybe, you know.
I think that did it. Yeah, well, it must have, because he started working with me and put me in artist development. So there was dance and there was singing lessons.
Wow.
There was media training for a hot second before it was clear that I wasn't about to be a media trained girly. It was very clear.
What were they saying? What did you have to...
It was just more like, oh, if you're asked this question, like answer it in this way. And I just remember like, mind you, at this point, I'm like 16.
Oh, yeah.
Or 15, 16. And 16-year-old me is like, is it?
Yeah.
Is this how we answer? And I'm very blunt.
Yeah.
Very, very sharp with the mouth.
As South London girls are.
As South girlies are. It's true.
We needed to ride them streets. So
we ride at dawn always was the mantra growing up in SE. But but yeah.
I love that.
I was like, I'm not really suited for media training, but I'm gonna do it because it's part of the discipline and I should follow what I'm being told. So yeah, from there it was, I literally did my GCSEs, got signed like right after my GCSEs. I had met A.M.E when I was 15.
Amazing. So did you meet each other at school?
So our schools were like probably like 20 minutes or something like that away from each other. Grew up in the same area. I grew up in Lewisham, he grew up in Catford. And I went to school with a guy called Michael Cameron, who was like the town musician at the time. And he had like a makeshift studio in his house. And I remember it was in his bedroom and it was like egg boxes and tights for the...
Love it.
for the pop shield. Yeah. It was the ghetto again, but like...
raw materials that work.
Exactly. Raw materials. That's a really nice way to put it. But yeah, so he linked us up. Michael basically linked us up together, me and M&EK. And we did one session and we were like, oh, we're locked in.
Okay.
Like it's actually over. Because I'd never met somebody who completed me so much musically.
Right. Yeah. Do you remember the first song that you wrote in that session? What was it?
It's a song called Hold Me Back.
Has it ever come out?
It never came out.
Oh.
It never came out. But it was basically on like a sampler with like 4 other tunes that we did that ended up getting me signed pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. So...
Could it be revisited?
Oh, 100%. It's never no.
Okay, it's never know. I love that.
Yeah, because it's so funny how much things change but stay the same. So I'm listening to music that we did when we were literally 15 and I'm like, that sounds exactly like the kind of music that we would make together.
Yeah.
Even though it's like rudimentary and really early on, it's like, this is blatantly, there was something really special.
The chemistry is there,
Yeah, exactly. So that I've got that MP3 in my phone to this day.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. So it was that. I got signed to Universal Music. Gary Barlow's label, actually a subsidiary like under Universal called Future Records.
Amazing.
And that's kind of where it started. That's where Need You happened as well, was on that label.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is when that happened?
Yeah, I was 18 when Need You got the Grammy nom. I think 17, 18 when it came out.
That's
and
amazing.
16 when we wrote it, kind of. Yeah.
Wow.
16, 17.
So had you already written that top line and it got sent out, or did you get given the beat? What happened?
Got given the beat.
Yeah.
So again, M&EK and I were like locked in the studio, I don't know, for like several days writing for what was going to be my album.
Yeah.
My debut album at the time. And Wayne sends me this beat and I'm like, okay. I love dance music.
Yeah.
Had never really dabbled in it just because I thought, I don't know, it's so interesting feeling like you don't belong in a genre that your people kind of created, invented. And so I never felt like I belonged in dance, you know.
Yes.
All of the powerhouse vocalists that I grew up listening to, I was like, you know, they're very much unsung heroes. There was nothing about dance music that made me want to like jump at it in terms of being on the other end. So yeah, he sends me this beat and I'm like, this is interesting, but M&EK and I are here, or Uzo and I are here specifically to work on my album. And so I think it was towards the end of the session, we were like, should we visit this beat? And we did. And like an hour later, Need You was written and recorded.
That's amazing, because that's, you know, a huge record. It's I think it was Duke Dumont's first massive record.
Yeah.
And also that beat is very sparse.
Maybe.
It's definitely addictive. But like the top line that you guys came up with in that space, that's amazing. And for it to be like a second song, end of session day song.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so you guys wrote that and did you like send it off and think, I'm on something else now?
It's 100%.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
She's a songwriter.
Thank you. We sent it off and we were like, this sounds cute. Like, we really, really enjoyed it. Uzo's in the back humming. I'm like, this is great. But on to the next thing. And the next thing was just making sure, we were writing more songs for my album.
Yeah.
And didn't expect it to do anything, let alone what it ended up doing.
Yeah, a global smash.
Yeah.
And then, so you finished that album, and then was that kind of more dance leaning as well, or where was it sitting in that?
It's so interesting because we never did finish that album.
Oh, right.
We never did finish it. I feel like Need You happened.
Yes.
And we went, oh my God.
Right.
What do we do now? What happens next? And I think Uzo and I have always just created, certainly with like an EP in mind or an album in mind, but for the most part, we kind of just go with it.
Yeah.
And so, we were writing just a body of work, we felt like, and then Need You happened, and we were like, And it wasn't even so much him and I, it was more the label.
Yeah.
Of course, trying to decide where do we go after such a massive record.
Yes.
And I'd been taught at that point that like, you never want, one of your first singles to be this big because how the hell...
Oh my God, are you supposed to follow it?
Yeah.
Which is a lot of pressure for you to receive at such a young age as well. Did you feel like, because obviously I'm guessing the phone started must have been off the hook. You guys got to write a load of dance hits now.
Yeah.
And how did you feel in that space? Did you feel like you were being valued, or like the idea of A.M.E. at the time? Did you feel like when you were being invited to write those records that the feature was there for you, or it's just like, we want this hit? And how did it feel?
I think it was a bit of both.
Yeah.
I think it was a bit of both in that some definitely felt like they wanted me, the individual, on the record and kind of what I bring. And M&EK too. And others, it definitely felt like, here's some NEB, give me a hit.
Yeah.
And it started getting disrespectful to a certain degree. It started literally being like a loop.
Oh my gosh.
That I was being sent and being told to, make this a smash. And I just got to a point where I was like, I'm good. And also I really, again, it'd been drilled into me that you don't want to be just a feature artist, whatever the hell that meant.
Yes.
And so for me, it was this weird battle of like, okay, this song has done well. Sounds nothing like anything else that I've done outside of the fact that it's like R&B leaning. But all my songs at this point were like either very bubblegum pop or just like the infant stages of me exploring R&B.
Yeah.
So I was like, I know that I definitely don't want to do bubblegum pop because this feels too childish even for me. And these are songs that I've written.
Yes.
But also, I don't know how the hell I go from Janet Jackson-esque records to now Need You 100% and beyond.
Yes.
And also, like, do people want me or do people just want the perceived success of what I bring to a record?
Yeah.
And it was a hard toss-up for a while there. I think that, you know what, no regrets, but I think that there's a few songs that maybe I wouldn't have done actually had I sat and really like thought about whether it was me versus the hit.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it was cool. It was cool to explore that for a little while.
Yeah.
But I then had to take charge, I think, after a while. It felt like it was just feature after feature. And again, I was getting caught up in the cycle that I said I didn't want to get caught up in.
Yes, exactly.
So I had to like pause and reevaluate.
And also the thing that is quite sad about this, and the reason why I wanted to start this podcast, is because you're a huge part of that record. You're 50% of Need You 100% and all the other records you've done. But even being called a featured artist has this tinge of kind of disrespect. And that's the thing I don't understand, because you wrote the theme tune.
Mind you.
You sung the theme tune. You're part of the hit of that. But yet it's still like it's not your record. And also you're still seen as a feature, but then you're being, and you're seeing your male counterpart in the DJ space elevating and flying, and then piggybacking off of what you've done to work with bigger vocal artists or whatnot of the time, and then sort of being left behind and devalued. And that's the bit I just cannot get my head around. Because all of those records you've done, although it might necessarily be, the space that you were thinking of Janet Jackson at the time, but those are still 50% your records, which should have featured into your growth as an artist.
Absolutely.
So did you find you were just feeling like you were being left behind?
In a lot of ways, yeah. Oh my God, that hit. Oh my God, that hit. It was so that hit, because I don't think anyone's ever said that to me before, but I absolutely did. Yeah. Because you're completely right. You know, Duke Dumont was able to, take that record and, like you said, fly. And it was something that I was able to watch in real time.
Yes.
And absolutely, I felt like outside of, certain DJs wanting to work with me, it felt like I was massively devalued. I mean, first and foremost, I wasn't asked to be in the music video.
Yes.
So nobody knew what I looked like or who I was. And again, what my contributions were outside of my name.
Yeah.
And so there was so many times, so many places, oh my God, from here to LA to bloody Magaluf, where I would hear my record and just kind of be like,
that's me.
That's me.
Yeah.
But like nobody around knows that it's me, because how would they? Really tough.
And you know what, exactly the same experience. And I mean, this is my own personal truth. I had a record out with Polar Bryson last year called One I Need, drum and bass space. Absolutely love those guys. They're the first feature people I've worked with who've asked me to be in the visuals. And that was 10 years since I sang I Got You. And they didn't know that, but I knew that.
Yeah.
And it meant a lot to me. And the fact that they were like, we want you in this. And we shot some amazing visuals, and I've actually gone on to work with that director for my own project.
Yeah.
But the feedback to me and in that space and being filmed and people going, wow, this is what you do. I'm like, I've never actually been given this opportunity.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes. And that's the thing. And it's wild. In fact, actually, my really great friend now, Rike, is actually stars in those videos and was on a few of those. And it's, you start seeing this thing and you're like, so hold on a minute. We're valuable enough to sing this record for you, write it in your space in this sense, or the ones I wrote for, said Duke Dumont. But we're not valuable enough to be visually featured. And then you start feeling like, what is this about? What is this about? I'd still love to know.
Me and you both got I think I know partly what it's about, but there's some tomfoolery anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing, because, and again, why I started this podcast, because definitely predominantly women of colour in the dance space. And I know, you know, white ladies in dance who've also been disrespected, but at the level that we have, and a lot of our people in our community, like you said, it harks back to, as you said, the dance space. You felt like you weren't welcome into it.
Yeah.
Which is something Aluna talks about as well, because it was created in the Black house scene in Chicago with some of these iconic, like Martha Wash and the vocals there. But then we're here, however many years later, still having the same issue that you're being devalued as one of the biggest voices of that time. So, yeah, I mean, you end up singing loads of records. You did MK and you did all those things, but you had a seminal moment in your life and your career why you just basically said, enough, I have to be Kabba. Please tell me about that journey for you. And then,
it was about just control. And feeling like I didn't have any. And again, I got signed very young. And so I relinquished control because I needed to. I had no idea what I was doing, number one. So I relinquished control to Wayne and Carlo at the time, who was managing me, and my accountant. And so like 20 years old or whatever, or I think I actually changed my name much further into my 20s, but even that young, I was like, something's got to give here, because from A.M.E, you know, nothing is mine. Wayne and Carlo, again, fire, but they came up with that name for me. It wasn't something that I chose. And then again, Need You had happened. I had a part in it, but it just felt like I was always kind of like on the periphery, you know, and all of these things were happening to me and these decisions were being made for me. But like, I don't know, I didn't say much. I think at times, maybe I felt like I couldn't, but for the most part, it's just because I didn't want to. I kind of just was being a kid and doing as I was told and wanting to be disciplined, actually. So when I took stock of everything, basically, I was like, I need to take control of my career and my life. And it looks like getting a driving license. It looks like moving out of home. It looks like changing my name to my name. Because Kabba is my last name. It's my like government name, as I like to say. It's my government name. But it just holds so much meaning. You know, it's my father's last name. It's the name of my ancestors. It's super Sierra Leonean, which I really, again, being in the dance space, I just felt like I really lost touch with my people. You know, and that's Sierra Leonean people, but Black people at large. I would go to these festivals and you know the vibes. You know the vibes, Kelly. Where it's like, nobody looks like me in this audience.
Yeah.
Nobody looks like me. Like I feel like a little bit of a freak show at some of these gigs. It kind of felt like. And so, yeah, I just wanted to get back to my community. I needed community.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I changed to Kabba. And in that time as well was experimenting with M&E and Ryan Ashley. And we were just so locked in, just trying to find whatever this new sound is. Is it R&B? Is it pop? Is it whatever?
Yeah.
And we'd created this EP. And so I was like, yeah, the only thing that is kind of missing here is the name.
Yes.
And the minute that I was like, I am Kabba, it was like...
Oh, that's nice.
It just
Did you feel
clicks.
this like energetic release? Yeah.
Yeah. But also just a true stepping into myself is how I felt like, you know, again, I'm grown now. And also there is something almost infantile about A.M.E, the little stars, and it's so cute, you know, but it was such a pivotal and incredible moment, you know, 16 to 18 or 16 to even 20. But I was just ready to move forward.
Yes. Yeah. And also not feel devalued in the space that you've helped grow and create anymore.
That part.
I love that. I'm very much that as well.
Yeah.
You know, you end up getting to a point where you say, no, I have to take back my own control. And I can't be hearing none of you lot's noise, because also you give. You don't receive in the same way. You do end up feeling used, and you're like, what's the point of this? Because this isn't why I got into this business. So what was your first release as Kabba?
It was a single called Glue. And it was very much a family affair. M&E, his brother Barthoven, who I actually released my first ever single was A.M.E with too.
Amazing.
It was the three of us on that as well. So yeah, that was really, really cool. It felt like, again, just like a homegoing kind of situation. That was lovely. And then I released that entire EP, which was self-titled.
Yeah. How did you feel like, was that self-titled and an independent release?
Yeah.
So how did you feel? So did you feel like a pressure to achieve a certain thing, or were you just able to be like, I don't care what this does, I'm just getting me out there? How did you feel?
I think more the latter.
Yeah.
Because at this point I'd had 2 record deals. Both my labels, fortunate or unfortunate, but I've had the luck of both my labels being dissolved. So never being dropped, but both my labels were dissolved.
Wow.
And so when I get that phone call twice, it was, hey, we love you. And, you know, we really want to keep working with you, but like, there's no label, girl.
Wow.
It's like your paintings, your pictures, are taken off the wall.
Oh my God.
And the emails are bouncing. It's
oh my God.
everything I knew. So yeah, like 18-year-old me was like in bits and pieces about future, because also I had a mentor in Celia McCamley, who was my A&R, and really looked after me and felt like, you know, a second mum. And now I was like, I'm out in the streets, like I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But I had spoken to Sony when I was kind of doing the rounds before I signed to Universal. And so I moved over to there. And then, of course, a few years later, I have that chat at Sony. And I was like, cool. Cool. So it's time to go indie is basically what the universe is giving. It's like, it's giving indie. But no, again, it was just so important for me to take control over everything, including my masters, my, you know, again, publishing. You know, I've been writing songs for a long time. I mean, professionally since I was 16.
Yeah.
And again, somebody has always taken care of things for me. So I needed to be able to like get stuck into it. And there's no end deeper than being an indie artist.
Oh, my girl.
For real.
I know.
The ghetto.
It's in the ghetto. I know, right? Even just the admin of it. Like so being an indie artist is amazing.
Yes.
Because you get to have your creative control, you get to have your vision, you get to make your music, you get to do that without anyone else outside noise.
Yeah.
But then you have to fund it. And then you have to do all the paperwork. And then I'm talking ISRC codes, barcodes, like, you know, the artwork, designing the artwork, paying someone to do the artwork, getting the artwork back going, that's not quite right. And you're not getting what I'm saying. So let me go on to Canva and design it for you. God, I use Canva heavily. And then send it to you and be
Real
like, could you please do this, but not on Canva? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
It's you having every element you've got to have a hand in when you're indie. Sorry to cut you off, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But did you feel that deep satisfaction when you got it out? And then did you, from that, because also being an indie artist is amazing because you get that freedom to put it out, but then you start saying to yourself, this needs to hit a certain thing. How did you feel coming into that space? of being your own A&R then?
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really, really tough, especially when, again, you've been working with the same people for, 10 plus years. It starts to feel like a bit of an echo chamber. And so, I send my music to my best friends. Obviously, E.M.E and I work on it, and my family, and they all love it. But I'm like, are you guys objective? I don't know. Like, I don't know how I get an objective view here. And so then I would send it to Celia, and I played it for Wayne. And again, just ears and eyes that I trusted. I think that element of things, I don't know, it allowed me a little bit of freedom. And also having been through 2 record labels, it allowed me to just take the pressure off slightly, because ultimately, this is the art that I want to create.
Yes.
This is who Kabba sounds like to me at this stage in my life. Again, this is just going to keep growing. And for me, it's about every project, every single thing being better, whatever that looks like, you know, than the last.
Yeah.
And so, there was certain pressures. I think for me, it was more the anxiety about, are people going to receive this at all? Like, is this going to reach enough people?
Yeah.
What are the likes and the retweets? And it was the views, like, what are they giving? As opposed to, like, I don't know, like, I wasn't like, it needs to hit 1 million streams. It was just more, I want it to reach as many eyes and ears as possible. But I knew that would be limited because of the funding and it being out of pocket. So a certain amount of pressure, but ultimately I kind of just wanted to be.
Yeah.
I wanted my music out there. And I've always said, once it's out, it belongs to the world now. It's not my child that I need to protect and comfort anymore. So it just belongs to the world. And that was more than enough for me at the time. I think now I have certain expectations, probably.
Who are you distributing through?
At that time, I want to say In Grooves or DistroKid.
Okay.
At the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you sort of lining up some Kabba now, which is...
Yes.
She's been learning the business.
Just a little bit.
And she's going to get ready.
Yes.
Are you kind of thinking of putting out single by single, or are you thinking of like going for an EP or the whole like package? Are you thinking like further ahead, or are you thinking I'm going to test this one out?
I'm thinking an EP.
Yeah.
I'm thinking an EP. I've got a 6-track EP that's like ready to go.
Nice.
And then I want to do a few loosies, so singles.
Nice.
But my thing is consistency. I've taken a big gap.
Yeah.
It's been, I think, like 4 years since I last released. And in that time, had the pleasure of working with Flow and helping them develop their sound.
Yeah, so please tell me about this, because they're like obviously the biggest new girl band on the scene and have again achieved incredible things.
Yeah.
So how has this been as part of the process? Like, because M&EK looked after them and managed them, right? And pulled them together.
No.
So, right.
No.
So yeah, please.
He's a creative. Sorry, let me let you answer.
No, that's it. Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah, so he's the exec producer of Access All Areas.
Nice.
And with myself, Jamal Woon, it was Trey Jean-Marie, Ryan Ashley, Tale Riley, Dio. There's like a huge team, actually, like a musical family that we initially put together, I think 2021.
Wow.
Via this writing camp that Ireland had sorted.
Amazing.
So they're signed to Ireland, UK, Republic, US. Their management team is like separate. And yeah, I met the girls in 2020. I did just a solo session with them, and I was like, there's something really special about these 3.
Oh, amazing.
And I've just got a really soft spot in my heart for young Black girls. I've got 2 little sisters. And again, I wanted to be, I don't know, who I needed when I was maybe 16 to, where I'm at now. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with them. And they can sing.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a joke. This is not a game. They can sing.
Yes.
So I was just so excited, and they love R&B. And I was like, oh my God, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And we just worked more and more, did this camp in 2021. And that's kind of where we really cemented what was going to be Flow, at least again for that period.
Yeah.
And we did the lead EP in that camp, and then went on to do everything else, singles and album. And I've had a hand in every part of it thus far.
Oh,
and it's been amazing.
It's amazing. And again, sorry, it's like to pull that back, because there's just this legacy that you're creating, and then you and M&EK, and then obviously the Ryan Ashley and, your community that you guys have built since you were so young. But you keep making hits. You keep touching hits and you're in touching distance of it, and you have had them. So how do you find that pressure on yourself? Even though to get Kabba out and it's finally like you broke free, but then knowing that you're going to put these records out, do you feel like you can create these hits? You know you can. You've got track records, you've got the discs on the wall to say it for yourself. How does it feel? Do you just put yourself under a lot of pressure?
Definitely. It's a different beast. I mean, in so many ways, it's a lot easier to write for myself because most of the time I know what I want to say.
Yeah.
I kind of know where I want it to go. And I also know that I have a musical family. You know, these are my actual brothers at this point, but also my musical tribe that almost I can spurt out nonsense to, and I know they'll filter it because they know me so well and it will turn into something amazing anyway. I don't know. I think just as a songwriter, I put a lot of pressure on myself to keep writing hits, not even necessarily for me, because I think my own music is probably, again, it's the easiest for me to write. It's more constantly putting myself in other people's shoes or writing from their vantage point where I'm like, I don't know if this is good enough. You know, imposter syndrome creeps in. And also it's part of what you said, is that there is a track record. And now I'm like, I kind of have to keep this up. I've got a publishing deal. I think, again, objectively, if you looked at my CV, you'd be like, oh, she's been getting busy. And I absolutely have. But that's where the pressure comes from. For me, it's more like when I step into a room with a flow or whoever, an artist, I'm like, I need to deliver. I need to be impressive is what I always say this to my therapist. I'm like, I want to be impressive so badly. So it's more that side for me. I think, for myself, it's easy. It's fun. It's really, really fun. And it is generally fun, but it just feels more like, I don't know, like work almost when I have to write for others.
What is the dream for Kabba? Let's say you've done this EP, these singles. Like, what do you visualize for yourself? What is that thing? What does it look like?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, there's so many ways to have a career. There's so many versions of a career that, again, the 18-year-old me, the answer that I would have given you, I think is very different to 30-year-old me. In that, you know, I look at careers like Cleo Souls, for example, and I'm like, oh my God, I want that. Because she's able to, again, write the music that she loves and that connects with her. And she's managed to connect to so many other people, but sold out shows and doesn't have to do a lot. You know what I mean? She pops in and out. Frank Ocean pops in and out. There's certain people that pop in and out.
Caliber, the levels.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. I think I just want what my version of success looks like. And that is, for me, people knowing my songs, you know, people knowing what I look like. People, because again, with like Flow, for example, it's so cool to stand at a show and hear these lyrics back and, you know, see captions and tweets. I'm like, that's awesome. It would be amazing as well, you know, when it's my own stuff and it's Kabba's stuff. So I just want to be seen and heard, you know, a lot more. And so there's no like limits. There's no specific things outside of I need to win. I've decided it needs to be an even number. I need to win like 10 Grammys. Type of thing. I'm like, I need that. I need a few of the accolades, but that aside, I just want my version of success. And I think for me, again, that looks like touring. That looks like doing things outside of music too that are creative. But certainly, just being heard.
Because you were Grammy nominated again with Flow, weren't you guys?
No, not
for some reason I thought
not yet.
You will be.
And will.
and will be. Because you've gone into that space, I'm sure over these last bunch of years, the phone's still been ringing to do A.M.E, or even though you're Kabba, to step back into that dance space. Did you like fully shut the door and you're like, I can't, I'm not?
I did for a hot second.
I
did for a hot second there. I think for probably like 4 or 5 years, I was just like, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear a bar of a dance record. I don't care to... Again, it was just that thing of like, do you guys want me, really? And not only was it, you know, not being invited to, or being invited in on the songs that you've helped to shape and helped to make hits, but it was also like I said, being sent like crazy loops and being expected to. And I found that the craziest, actually, you know, because it was just such blatant disrespect where you didn't even give me the respect of like finishing this track.
Yeah.
Am I a mug? Or like, what's it giving to you that you thought you could send me an 8-bar loop?
Yeah.
And I was going to give you a Grammy nominated record. That's crazy. So yeah, no, it was that aspect for me. And, the pay wasn't hitting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those pays on, those feature fees were not hitting at all. And I was just like, this is now almost like heartbreaking to me. Like it doesn't feel good to do anymore. So yeah, I took a step back. But I love dance music.
Yeah.
I love dance music. I want any reason to make songs like My Love for You and to make another Need You 100%.
That's such a great song. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
But,
I love that record.
I love dance music, and given the right opportunity, I'd love to jump back in there. I've made dance music since, it just hasn't come out.
Is there a way to fuse the two from the soul sound and side of things and the pop edge of Kabba into some of the dance space?
100%.
Yeah.
I think the gag is that it is that already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, again, My Love for You, that's just an R&B top line.
Yeah, that's a great record, yeah.
Thank you. Like, straight up R&B. And similarly, Need You 100%. Like, if you know, it's very pop.
Yeah.
Very pop, very R&B leaning. So I think those elements will always be in there. It just, it'd be cool for me to approach it, slightly differently, I think, this time around.
And would you keep it you, or would you be open to doing like you and the feature thing in that space?
I wanted to like do my features as A.M.E. initially when I changed my name.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's so confusing.
Yeah, to have,
Yeah, to have like both sides. But I think the right song, the right person.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying no to anything at the moment. It needs to hit though.
Yeah.
I need to hear that song or that beat and be like, this is undeniable.
This is mine, I have to.
My name has to be on it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, even what you were saying about some of the loops, I ended up making a conscious decision to say I cannot work with producers who aren't musicians anymore. I cannot be in a room for hours where they don't know how to change the chord. And it's just like, it's really important because I love working with producers who are musicians because you get somewhere and you'll be like, something about this is brilliant, but it's not landing.
Yeah.
We need to change something up so that I mentally can find another space to go to.
Yeah.
And that be an exciting thing, you know, and in that shape and space of it, as well. And in terms of the featured, I mean, my first ever signed record on Warner, which was 2021. My finally got one.
2021?
Yeah. So,
what?
Yeah, that was the first signed record I ever had. And then last year, Unconditional I put out on my own label, got upscaled to a label, and then I signed one other. So in terms of my career today, I've only had 3 signed single, and 1 was upscaled, and 2 were actually signed.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. And that's why my label has been my own life raft in this business as well, being able to just put me out and keep pushing forwards. But I remember the discussion at Warner because Bill and Ted, amazing producers, really like Sam and Tom. They're so lovely. And then there was a discussion last minute to put their name on it because it's Feeling You was my record, and put their name on it because they had the sea shanty track blowing up. And I had a discussion with my lawyer, big up Judge Jules. He's been my ride or die. And he was just like, you need to have a dance record which doesn't have anybody else's name on it but yours. And I was like, I really do. And I mean, from a business decision, it would have made sense just to put those guys' names on it because the monthly listeners were hitting and blah, 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 blah. But the other thing that was frustrating about that was the record wasn't going to change. It was literally the same record, but just the additional name, which from a marketing point of view, fine. But then again, it's like, why do we have to be devalued again? Why is that record not good enough on its own with just my name on it? Because it's the same record.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to make it excel. And, and then I didn't get my second single on Warner. I didn't get my option on Warner. And that's the thing that we feel like we've had to fight with. And like, I nearly changed my name just before More Than Friends. I'd done a whole rock EP thing. I'd done a photo shoot for it. I'd gone with my surname. I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore because for me, it was an FU to the dance industry. And then More Than Friends happened. And I said, can I do it under this feature? And it was Anton Partridge, who was at Warner at the time, who said, no one knows who at the time Davila is. they know who Kelli-Leigh is in the dance space. So do that. So actually, it was really weird. It was like the universe for me just being like, no, the indie rock thing you're trying to do is not going to be, it's not a thing.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
So you're going to go on this space. But
that's amazing though. Wow.
It's interesting timing. But I understand why, you had to do this for yourself and give yourself basically freedom from somewhere that was trying to keep you trapped in a
absolutely
endless cycle of usage abuse. Not so extreme, but it feels like that.
It does feel like that. And it feels lonely.
It does feel lonely.
It feels really lonely, and it feels whack as hell going to these gigs, like I said, and not seeing anyone that looks like you is one thing, but also, again, that I just didn't have a sense of community in the dance world.
Yeah.
You know, again, I'm so lucky that my tribe are people that I've grown up with. I'd see familiar faces and there'd be a bit of love there, but generally, I just felt very alone.
Yeah.
Very, and also, very, very alone.
I mean, it's changing now, but also as women and female artists as well, and in that space, we're kind of kept apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so true.
And we actually were experiencing similar things, but not really able to really discuss them with each other. Or if we did, it was always behind closed doors, because it was like, don't rock the boat. If you want that feature, if you want to be in that thing, that person's being difficult. And I mean, again, it depends on who you are and how you feel with that kind of stuff. And some of them with me, they picked the wrong person to play that game with, girl.
Me and you both.
Yeah, right.
And isn't it funny how it's the same person that thought they ate that?
I mean, but we're having a nice time on this sofa.
Yeah.
So this year, 2025, what's happening? We're bringing out the Kabba record. Is it going to be this year?
By the grace of God.
By the grace of God, girl, just get it out there.
I know. But this is the thing about being indie and also having taken this amount of time off, I'm shook to my core.
Right.
You know what I mean? I am so terrified. It's so easy to take cover under the songwriting stuff.
Yeah.
It's really, really easy. And that's in every way. It's easy to, you know, whatever you're going through, put it in that song that other people can sing.
Yes.
But equally, as an artist, I needed the space and the time.
Of course. And you're a successful writer as well. So it's not like you're like, I have to get this out because I need something.
Yeah, true.
You're successful in that space, so you can give yourself your cave.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've gone in it. It's time to come back out.
It's time to come back out.
Time to pop out.
And you've got that fan base there that's ready for you. And also, you had to take that time out, and you've actually got more legacy to talk about of what you've created and been a part of. Girl, you do make hits. And also, whether it's going to be a hit in the terms of the sense of being Grammy nominated or whatever, it's a hit for you because you love that record.
Yes.
And if it stays on your hard drive Dropbox of doom, no one can experience it.
Yeah.
And also, I think also for me, releasing, it's just each song is a stepping stone to another one. Just having your catalogue out there. When I have fan base that are growing with me going, oh my God, I love Do You Want to Be Loved Like This, which was my first single in 2018. You know, rolling through to Unconditional last year. I mean, Unconditional, I think was my 10th or 11th self-release single. Might be getting that wrong. And that's my first time getting that on Radio 1 playlist. But I had to have all those other ones that might have been flops. They're
all different doors that you open, right? Until you get to that door.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I wholeheartedly agree. And also, I'm a big fan of just being like gentle with yourself.
Yeah.
And being kind to yourself, because this industry will bruise and batter you.
Yes.
And I think it's really important to, again, take stock and go, is this what my sound is? Am I just doing this for this? Or is this, like you said, for me?
Yeah.
So that when you do release a record, you're not like up at night looking at the streams and waiting. Like you know. And also I'm keen to do things that are creative that again aren't in the music space or isn't in the music space in particular. So like this show with Dion Bromfield.
Yes, you were telling me about.
It's called The Reserve Seat.
Ooh, I like it.
Thank you. And it's just a little, we wanted to kind of do this. We wanted to talk to other musicians, but like movers and shakers, musicians, actors, dancers, whoever it is, just about their respective journeys and where they're going and where they've come from. And make it fun, make it interactive. I think that it's really rare as well for two young Black girls who are active right now to be speaking about what is happening in music, you know, and really talking the things. There isn't a lot of like being hush-hush with me and Dion. We really get to it. That's been so nice to like, I don't know, it's nice to have another like string, you know, to attach to my bow. So that's been really cool. But ultimately it's just about having myself seen this year
Yeah.
and actually allowing myself to be seen. Because again, I've been in hiding.
Yeah.
So I want to be seen. I want to be heard. And hopefully that is music mainly. But if not, the show is 100% happening this year.
Oh, it's gonna be both.
Period.
And they're gonna bounce off each other, and it's gonna grow even from there.
Yes.
You're an absolute queen.
Thank you. As are you.
Oh, thanks, gorgeous.
As are you.
Thank you so much for coming and sitting here today with me.
Thank you for having me.
And share some of your journey. And you know, you're an icon. And when that music's ready to come out, the wigs will be snatched.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Oh my God, this was so cute. I don't want it to end. Is it ended? Sorry, I keep talking.